Marvel and DC created trade paperbacks, and it accidentally changed comics forever. Because for decades, comic books were basically designed to disappear. Comic books were printed on cheap paper, sold at grocery stores and spinner racks, and once they were gone, that was it. In the 1960s, Marvel started running into a problem. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the X-Men. These stories continued month after month, and readers suddenly wanted access to older issues they had missed. So Marvel started experimenting with paperback comic collections. And weirdly enough, one of the inspirations was actually Mad magazine. Mad paperback collections were selling really well in bookstores. Marvel basically thought, wait a minute, maybe comic stories can sell outside newsstands too. And eventually Marvel struck gold with the Fireside Books line through Simon & Schuster. Books like Origins of Marvel Comics became huge hits, and for the first time comic stories started escaping the spinner racks and entering bookstores. And once Marvel saw it worked, DC followed. But the real turning point came in 1986 with The Dark Knight Returns. When DC collected Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns into trade paperback, it became a massive success. And suddenly, publishers realized something huge, that these stories don't have to sell just once, and they can stay in print forever. And there's actually a famous example involving Watchmen. When Alan Moore signed his Watchmen contract with DC Comics, the deal said the rights would revert back to him once the book went out of print. And at the time, that sounded completely reasonable, because comic collections were not expected to stay in print forever. But when The Dark Knight Returns exploded, Watchmen got collected too, and it never went out of print. And that completely changed the comic industry, because publishers realized they weren't just selling monthly comics anymore, they were building permanent comic book libraries. And that's today's moment in comic book history.
That's very cool.
Full episode of Cheddaverse is out now. Check it out.